of veteran players, but only one can emerge victorious in their first foray to the land of dawn on the MPL stage. Let's find out who it's going to be.
All right, let's get into our second best of 3 of today between these two rookie squads. You know, I am a little disappointed we don't get to see DJY coming in for Ocean.
I know,
Black
right?
At the very least, I thought maybe, hey, you know, if anything, the first game of the season.
Yeah, I remember doing like team tier list, and I was like, this is probably the only match series that DJY has a chance to get fielded, because every match after this is going to get tougher and tougher. I don't know, DJY, you better fight for your slot.
Ooh, interesting. Storm actually pull yourself together. There has been changes on this emblem itself, allowing you to get shorter cooldown times on towards your flicker, which is probably why he got it in the first place. But I am curious to see whether, you know, it's going to punish him later down the line, because I do feel like Wilderness Blessing is pretty much needed for how Ocean Black is going to play the map.
You can't blame that Roma DNA still into him, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Still sticking to that supportive role.
Because, like, I don't think Eve would need to rely very heavily on Flicker in the first place to bring this around, and having the mobility to match up to Rasi moving around on this show would probably be a bit more appreciated, but let's see if this does end up working out for him.
For now, at least they've opened up the map and figured out where exactly Jun is going to be. From this point onwards, the mid lane prio, as you can see, that Stolen doesn't mind getting shoved in when he doesn't have his support next to him with the concussive blast to clear up that lane quick, but at the very least, it forces Div to actually recall in this lane.
Yeah, which is something that Eve actually has an advantage, right? With that Void Crystal, you technically get to poke out the juice in every time she tries to walk up to you with the Lantern Flare. Bit of a scuffle, Rasi will get caught, goes back in with the Jit Kun Do, gets sniped, but doesn't go down.
Very big exchange in the mid lane, actually. Basically a 4v4 in that particular situation, but looks like Ocean Black will be able to start getting control over the Turtle Pit first, since Keyman went for his next buff. Not too sure if he's going to be able to clear it in time, actually. Jun is rushing it down.
Yeah, Ripple just forced Storm away. They both hit for Turtle, of course, for Ocean Black. Ripple, big rating sandstorm. RWM from Storm, forcing Ripple to flicker, but Super Susu is in their face with the Glorious Pathway, trying to look for any sort of a kill. AOG doesn't do enough. First blood going over to Jun, but a trade back instantly for DXO. Ocean Black, in the end, still comes out on top.
Huh. I don't know how to feel about this one. I feel like the initial rotation coming in from Ocean Black to get Ripple to level 4 while Div maintained at level 3 for a good amount of time, all of that could have been diverted had DXO just decided, hey, well, let's use our comp ultimates like roughly at the same time. We can get everything out of them. We know that Div isn't level 4 on time unless they take the turtle, so drop the AOG, drop the RWM all at the same time. That's what they needed.
Yeah, it honestly felt a little bit messy, that last fight, from both teams, actually. There was kind of a disconnect in the way that both sides were approaching it, where you would see players kind of rotate out, but not really in the most clean or consistent way. And then, like you mentioned, Gideon, the ultimate's not really being used together. And Ocean Black did end up coming out on top because of some good catches from Rippo, as well as the Glorious Pathway allowing the team to reposition themselves. But so far, still not the clean gameplay we're hoping for.
No, look, I mean, the score is still 1-2, and based on what we're seeing from the raw rotations, it looks like Ocean Black has a rough idea of how to try and get under the skin of DXO. I get it. Ocean Black understands that if they drop all their ultimates at the same time, there's not much they can really do about it, other than, like, you know, utilize a battle spell to move yourself out of the RWM, or maybe even the AOG in those times. But their main win condition is in Masako, right? So if they can stall this game out until that point and utilize Rippo as the spearhead until he gets to that max stacks, well, a mass accumulation of gold, then I think they'll be okay.
Even in this early front-loaded damage, I think Ocean Black has a lot more of it, right? Low investment with Lantern Flare, with Rhapsody, Ring of Punishment, compared to what DXO have to invest. Eve doesn't have the damage yet, so they're looking to keep it a lot to make these pickoffs happen, get these kills at least. Second Turtle.
You can definitely tell DXO needs to play together a bit more because of all their teamfight ultimates, and that means OV are able to move around the map a little faster, a bit more independently, and just secure objectives without having to contest much for it.
I think the DXL need to recognize that, hey, we don't need these turtles. We don't need to show up for them. We just need to make sure that Cayman is able to get those 2 items and actually be a threat towards Diff or maybe even Masako when the time comes. At this point of time, we're seeing that Siska, he's not getting Diff that much in the lane. It's just that, unfortunately, Rippo is able to clear just ever so slightly faster and walk away healthier to help out the mid.
Just a expected result, right? You get Sandbag. Ripple does have a slight XP advantage thanks to the earlier 2 assists. Siska did ended up going down. Though, DXO maintaining that goal difference at merely 1.2 to 1.5k, I think is pretty good spot for them. Rossi has to be a bit careful because they have to jump on him to try and burst him down, force him away. RWM and also AOG committed. That is what we want from DXO. But still, Ripple finds the backline. Rossi goes down, and Ocean Black have pushed DXO back.
Okay, in terms of ult execution, nicely done, right? You wanted to try and save Rossi, I get it. I don't think the RWM was necessary. Probably the AOG would have been enough there. They could have held it for a different fight.
Yeah, I think they called the fight a little bit too desperately there. They were trying to save Rossi, then they saw, hey, everyone's in RWM, we can actually engage this. We saw Keeman try to come in from the flank, but the electrifying blitz was used too early on for it to actually matter, so he actually couldn't join the fight anyway. And because of that, Ocean Black were able to once again make use of that glorious pathway to position themselves in the fight. And Rippo also doing a lot of work for OB right now by just zoning out the backline and just being a nuisance.
Yeah, I mean, it's just small advantages being utilized by Rippo as of right now. His relevance will eventually start to fade as this game drags on. And I think that DXL, they don't need a fight. It's a numbers game at this point of time. Unless they are able to get primary picks like, oh, hold on.
And look for Masako. Flickers away. AOG doesn't catch him, but it does catch Rippo. Will try to heal out with a quick stand guard and survive. For a bit longer than they wanted. Still, Masako finds a trade back. Storm uses RWM, gets lifted up, thrown back. SkyZ joins the fight, but too late. Ocean Black have just found 2 more kills.
Very, very messy from DXL, and Ocean Black is taking full advantage of it. Rippo surviving that long really should not have happened, and it made Siska stay in front to deal with him, which meant that the backline was just being free to be dove by OB.
If Cayman doesn't one-shot Rippo, I think they need to call it off straight away.
Yeah.
There's just, you don't have a choice. Again, you have Quicksand Guard. They're aware of the Quicksand Guard, but only Siska and Rossi have the CC to actually break it. And I think at that point, once the Way of the Dragon was out, and you've already used 3 hits of Jeet Kune Do, even if Siska was able to get in there in time, I think there needed to be a faster haul. And I think right now, that's what DXL is kind of lacking, right? That foresight, that level of foresight, and more so the current state in the game, which honestly is not looking good right now.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing the initiative from them. Ocean Black is dictating the pace of the game. They are controlling everywhere they move on the map, and DX are just being forced to respond to it, and not in a particularly good way. They actually do have some good counter-engage with the ultimates, but so far it has not been used effectively, and that's allowing OB to just take advantage and take him out one by one.
Yeah. Oh, even for SkyZ, he's not getting as much farm as he would like to. At this point, Cayman's the only person you can really rely upon, only after he gets that Holy Crystal. In the meantime, you're just going to have to take the L's.
OB also basically, they're just abusing the fact that they have a draft. You let them take space, they will take it, right? Khalid, Zusin, they just walk up in your face. And DXO, they want no business with it. Rossi and Siska definitely doesn't want to be pulled back by a Lantern Flare. Ocean Black extending that goal advantage to 3,000. 40 seconds until Lord spawns on the top side. DXO will have 1 goal, defend this mid-tier 1.
Okay, DXL does have another line of punishment. If they want to hurt Ocean Black at its center, it's either you find Masako or you find Diff. Both of them, which I do realize, don't have Purify. So again, it's just mass respect, and you can even force it out. And I think that Rossi's pretty much the only one who can reliably do so, which is probably why Ocean Black are playing this, heavy guerrilla warfare, hide in the bushes, make sure you have map control to keep account of where Rossi is going to be.
Yeah, they're very comfortable allowing Rippo to just run across the map, because even if he gets picked off, his job will usually have been done by Den of just poking out and zoning DX entirely. And because of that, it's very difficult for Rossi to actually try and open up the map. He can't really go for a bush play. He can't set up catches with the rest of his team because they're a little bit slow behind him. This is, again, giving so much advantage to Black.
Okay, Kimi is going to try. They blow up Masako. Caught him out of position. Rippo, Raging Sandstorm, but there's the RWM. They are all going to be forced to trap. Trying to fight back. And into an AOG by Siska. And Kim In picks off on Ripple. Finally, Super Suzu turns back, and they get a snipe onto Siska. 2 for 1. DXO comes out on top.
Hey, what did I say? They found the angle, the experience from Rossi there, coming into play, making sure that, hey, they're not going to be on this side of the map because the Lord is spawning. They want to have control over the Lord. As long as I have my conceal ready to go and somebody shows mid, we can look for the punish because, again, Moscow does not have Purify. Same goes for Diff.
And that was a bit of a mistaken positioning from Ocean Black there. It literally just said that Rasi cannot find catches because Rippo is running around opening up the map, but then they position themselves horizontally so that their gold laner is just left alone.
Oh, Rasi did get forced back. Lord very, very low. Ocean Black will walk away with the objective, but DXO seems like they want to chase. Rippo will have to ult away. Rasi looking for a kick, the wrong direction. Super Suzu escapes, Kimin goes in, gets control, but still gets his ult off. What an RWM by Stoem. Div also will go down. Double kill for Stoem, and they trade Kimin.
Ooh, that was some risky business from Ocean Black. They already secured the Lord on their side, but they wanted to greed out just a little bit more. So, I mean, Diff tried. Masako, if he just landed one more shot onto Cayman, they probably would have ended the engagement much sooner. But that's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of DX, and this does mean that they get to scale to the late game.
Very important fights for DXO at a very crucial timing around the mid game there. This is where their team fight comp is going to be the strongest, and we can see how Ocean Black is starting to have a little difficulty dealing against it, because they do need to be able to slowly separate them and pick them off one by one. And now that DXO is a little bit more synergistic and has a little bit more leeway for mistakes thanks to their extra items, they're able to play around that.
This guy is in quite a poor position, so she has the AOG out, which gives Ocean Black some breathing room. Unfortunately, the Lord take is a net negative. They get nothing from it. Didn't even get the bottom tier 2. Lost almost everything that they worked hard for up to this point.
It's down the drain, and I think now Ocean Black has to rethink the strategy, right? They're going to have to fall back into Masako to kind of set everything up, because Diff at this point doesn't have much damage, but he is a CC machine. So even landing Death Sonatas is pretty valuable for Diff.
That is definitely the case. Jun is definitely still a threat as well. The Suyo has not died just yet. Definitely not as big of a snowball as you'd like, but still a very solid position, especially since Ripple will start falling off.
And what a catch for Rossi. No Purify means he's dead. No Diff in this fight. Ocean Black will have to run. Ripple gets blown up. A flicker forward into an RWM. Stolen with the follow-up. And now, Tikundo in the AOG. They just line it up perfectly like dominoes. Killing spree given over the Sky Z3 for DXO.
Ooh, their early dominance and overconfidence starting to bite back a little bit here for Ocean Black. They're making mistakes in their positioning on the map.
Why did Ripple flicker there? He had 3 in the... He had 3 in the Raging Sandstorm. He could have maybe even saved his teammate there, unless he knew it was dead. But even then, why would you flicker immediately after? Let's look at the instant replay as that fight. Right there! He could have landed on all 3 of them if he wanted to. And even Super Suzu tried to like disengage Ripple as well.
Bit of a mistake, yeah, because I don't really know for sure what exactly occurred. I think he was expecting them to back off just slightly, but no, they actually full committed to it, so he only landed on 1 and not even an important target at that.
I mean, not entirely. Not entirely sure what the plan there was for the counterattack of Ocean Black, but maybe just a miscalculation of how far his teammates actually were. In the meantime, the next Lord is about to spawn, and at this point, Ocean Black has to be careful because the raw control, especially with all the ultimates coming in from DXSoul, is going to make this take way more difficult.
They definitely missed their window. Now it's their turn to play from behind. Lord started up by DXO, down to 50%. Kimin making sure that if Ocean Black shows up, he's just going to pull off the Lord. There's no rush to get this objective right now.
They can take their time with this. They know that Ocean Black are now in a position where they actually have to force something. And we can see that Rasi as well as Zed are already set up on the opposite side. They want to take advantage of Ocean Black potentially mispositioning their gold laner or mid laner once again. And OB right now just trying to go for the front to back, hoping to regain control over the Lord pit.
Concealed by Rasi. That is going to force Ocean Black back up a little bit, but the Lord still under siege. So he's not going to get a full reset. DXO making sure that he's kept at 50% HP. Rasi again finding a pick flicker, and that is what they're looking for. Div able to use the Crimson Beacon to get out, but SkyZ is going to be the target, and they have no one to deal with him. Keemin able to escape, SkyZ still pelting them with the heavy crossbows, and this fight is done. DXO finds 2 kills and a Lord.
Beautifully done by Stoem. Essentially looking, hey, who are my top priorities to get out of the way? And in that case, it was picking up and cleaning up the mess that was already done by Ocean Black, but at the same time zoning out Jun. He cannot get near the Lord pit at all. This way, they're able to zone out, secure everything that they need, and now they're looking for an endgame scenario.
And Lord's gonna break this mid inhibitor. A good taunt on a Ripple. He will try to get away, but the damage is just too much at this point. SkyZ and Keemin have all the time that they need to clean up the mess. They've been given a space, and DXO will claim game number 1.
Well played by DXO. Rasi's confidence and veteranship shining through for this squadron.
Yep, a clean comeback and really good shot calling from